That sentence keeps playing in my head. Like a broken record I can't shut off. I drive Uber part-time. Never had any real problems. Drunk college kids, weird small talk, the occasional sketchy passenger. But this wasn't just strange. It was 1:27 a.m., the kind of dead-of-night quiet where even the air feels different. I was about to head home after a long night when a ping popped up near an industrial park. No name, no profile picture, just pick up at loading dock 3. I hesitated. That area wasn't known for being populated, but money's money, and I was already nearby. As I pulled into the lot, my headlights skimmed over rows of semi-trucks, all parked like silent giants. Then I saw him, a man in a black hoodie, standing perfectly still at the edge of the dock. He didn't wave me down, didn't move, just stood there, watching. He got in the back seat without a word. "Hey, good evening. Do you have a destination?" Nothing. I turned slightly in my seat to look at him. His face was partially obscured by the hood, but his eyes, I swear to God, those eyes were wide open, unblinking, staring straight ahead. Not at me, not out the window, just ahead. I asked again. "Sir, where to?" Still nothing. Then, finally, he spoke, but it wasn't what I expected. "You live on Ridgeway Avenue, house number 48, right?" My heart skipped. I hadn't put in my address. I never do while on shift. That information wasn't on the app, and I sure as hell didn't recognize this guy. "Excuse me?" I said, trying to keep my voice steady. He smiled. It was the kind of smile you see on someone who enjoys pain, theirs or someone else's. "You should start driving. We have a lot to talk about." I considered ending the ride and telling him to get out. But my body didn't move. I couldn't even reach for the phone. My hands were locked on the steering wheel, like they belonged to someone else. A weird coldness crept over me, not like fear, but like my limbs were forgetting how to function. I started driving, not because I wanted to, but because I felt like if I didn't, something worse would happen. "What do you want?" I asked. He didn't answer that. Instead, he started talking about me, things I hadn't told anyone. He brought up my brother's accident when I was 10, the time I cheated on a math test in high school, my mom's maiden name, my ex-girlfriend's birthday. Every few seconds, I'd glance into the rearview mirror. His mouth was moving, but his eyes were still unblinking. No matter how long he talked, I never saw him blink once. I tried to end the ride on the app. My phone froze. Not crashed, froze. The screen just stayed stuck on the map. And the longer we drove, the further we got from civilization. Eventually, we left the city limits. My gas tank dipped below a quarter. He told me to keep going. Then he said, "You shouldn't have ignored me. 3 years ago, I nearly slammed the brakes." "What are you talking about?" He didn't answer. But in that moment, I remembered something. A man on the side of the road, years ago, hitchhiking in the pouring rain. I didn't stop. I had a bad feeling about him. Just kept driving. Never gave it another thought. Until now. "You think you're the only one who gets feelings?" he said. Suddenly, he reached forward from the back seat and placed a small object on my center console. I flinched. It was a photo of me, taken from outside my bedroom window. I recognized it instantly because it was the same outfit I wore last night. "You're not special," he whispered. "You're just next." I slammed on the brakes, turned, and shouted, "Get the hell out of my car!" But he was gone. Just gone. The back door never opened. The seat was cold. No footprints, no sound, nothing. I sat there in the middle of nowhere, engine idling, completely alone, until my phone buzzed. New Uber ride request, no name, no picture. Pickup, my house. And the caption under the request? Let me in this time. This happened 6 months ago, and I haven't driven since. Not for Uber, not for anything. I won't even sit in the driver's seat unless I absolutely have to. And if you knew what I saw that night, you wouldn't blame me. It was a quiet Tuesday, around 11:40 p.m. I had just dropped off a guy at a downtown hotel and was about to call it a night when I got a ping from an address about 10 minutes away. Odd thing was, it came through with no profile info, no rating, no picture. Just a location and a name, Alyssa. I accepted, figuring maybe it was someone new to the app or had privacy settings maxed out. The pickup spot was strange. An old street near the outskirts of town, mostly run-down warehouses and abandoned brick buildings. I almost canceled, thinking it was a prank. But just before I hit the cancel button, I saw her. She walked out of the alley like she'd been waiting in the shadows. Black dress, pale skin, long black hair hanging almost to her waist. She didn't smile, didn't say a word. Just opened the door and got in the back seat behind me. "Hi, you Alyssa?" I asked. She nodded once, didn't look at me. "Where to?" She whispered something I didn't catch. "Sorry, can you repeat that?" She leaned forward just close enough that I could smell this old, dusty scent, like mothballs and rain-soaked wood. "Home," she whispered again. I turned back around, confused. There was no destination in the app, and now I wasn't even sure she was fully right. I mean, she looked young, maybe early 20s. But something about her felt older, heavier, like she'd been through centuries of things she didn't talk about. Still, I started driving. I didn't know where home was, so I tried asking again. "Do you have an address?" No response. I looked back in the mirror, and I swear she wasn't looking out the window. She was staring straight at me through the glass. Not like a glance, like a deep, unblinking gaze. About 10 minutes in, the temperature in the car dropped, no exaggeration. I had the heat on low because it was chilly outside, but suddenly I could see my own breath. Then my radio turned on. I hadn't touched it. Static, just loud, violent static, burst from the speakers for 2 seconds. Then silence again. I looked back. She was smiling. Not a happy smile. The kind you see in a nightmare. Wide, slow, deliberate. That's when I pulled over. "I'm sorry, I think I need to end this ride. I don't know where you're trying to go." She didn't respond. "Miss, I need you to get out of the car." Nothing. I turned around fully, and she was gone. I hadn't heard the door open. The child lock was on. She was just not there anymore. I sat frozen in that driver's seat for what felt like forever. Then, thinking I must have had some kind of psychotic break or stress-induced hallucination, I went to check the ride record in the Uber app. There was no ride, nothing. No record of me accepting or picking anyone up. The time between my last passenger and now, blank. It was like she'd never been there. I got home in a daze. Around 1:15 a.m., I parked and sat in my driveway, engine off, trying to make sense of what happened. And that's when I noticed something on my passenger seat. A photograph. An old one. Black and white. It was a girl, standing outside the very warehouse I picked her up from. Same black dress, same hair. But the picture looked like it had been taken 50 years ago. Written on the back, in faded cursive, Alyssa, 1971, Found dead near 43rd Street. I Googled it. It's real. She was murdered by a rideshare driver back in the early 70s. Except Uber didn't exist then. So how did she request me? And more importantly, why did she get in? I know how that sounds. Crazy. Delusional. But I swear to you, I am not insane. At least, I wasn't before that night. It happened last fall during Halloween weekend, which usually means one thing when you're driving Uber: drunk costumes and surge prices. Around 2:10 a.m., just after the bars closed, I got a request from a guy named Mitch downtown. Said he was headed toward the suburbs, about a 25-minute drive. Easy money, I thought. I pulled up near a liquor store, and he was already waiting outside. Mid-30s, clean-shaven, wore an old-fashioned brown trench coat, like something out of a noir film. No costume, no party vibes. Just quiet. He got in the back seat behind me, directly to the right, and said in this flat, low voice, "Just drive. I'll tell you when to turn." Normally, I'd ask for a destination or tell him I need it for the route. But something about him made me comply. His tone wasn't angry, just final, like there wasn't room for discussion. The car felt heavy once he got in, not just from his weight, but the atmosphere. Like something invisible had climbed in with him. I tried brushing it off. Maybe I was tired. "Heading home from work?" I asked, trying to break the ice. He didn't answer. 10 minutes in, he finally spoke. "You've seen a dead body before, haven't you?" I nearly swerved. "What?" He didn't repeat it. Just sat there facing forward, as if the question had never happened. I laughed nervously. "No, man. Why would you say that?" "Some people attract them," he said, like it was a fact. "They don't know it, but they do. They pull death toward them, like gravity." I wanted to end the ride, but we were already deep into a rural area, one of those winding roads with no lights, no houses, just woods. I checked my rearview mirror again, and that's when I noticed it. He wasn't sitting right. His upper body was pressed stiffly against the seat, his neck rigid, his hands flat on his thighs. But there was no bend in his lower back, no curve in his spine. He looked like a mannequin, propped up with invisible string. I squinted. My headlights hit a bump in the road, and for a split second, the beam caught his reflection in the mirror. There was a shadow inside his coat, a hollow one. No back, no flesh beneath the fabric, just darkness. He caught me looking. "You see it now," he said calmly. I hit the brakes, hard. The car skidded to the side of the road. Leaves and dust shot up around us. "Get out," I said. "I don't care where we are. Get the hell out of my car." But he didn't move. Not immediately. Then he said something I'll never forget. "You should have stayed on Main Street. That girl on the corner, the one in the blue jacket, she needed help." My blood ran cold. I'd seen a girl earlier that night, before this ride, just standing there on Main Street crying into her phone. I drove past because I didn't want to get involved. I thought, someone else will stop. "How do you know that?" I whispered. "You could have saved her." He leaned forward then, and for the first time, I saw inside his coat. There was nothing there. No organs, no bones, no spine, just the shape of a man filled with black air. He opened the door and stepped out, effortlessly, like gravity didn't apply to him. Then he looked back through the window. "She's dead now," he said. "You earned me." He smiled, the kind of smile that doesn't belong to a human. Then he walked straight into the woods and vanished. No flashlight, No phone, just gone. I sat there, shaking. I called 911, reported the girl. I don't even know why. I just couldn't ignore it anymore. Turns out, the young woman was found the next morning behind that corner store. Strangled. Left in a dumpster. Blue jacket. I checked the app. Mitch's ride was there. But his profile was blank. No photo. No ride history. When I contacted Uber, they told me that ride had never officially been logged. I quit the next day. But sometimes, when I drive past that same stretch of woods, I see something in the trees, watching, waiting,